All right, everybody. Jason Sloan here with Furtado Law Solutions coming to you live. We have a new addition, Jose Ornelas. Want to say it?
Hello, I'm Jose Ornelas.
All right, and he works with us out of our Mexico City branch. And we have the guest of honor, Devon Hayes.
Hello.
Hello,
So,
Devon.
and you're with, what's your
I'm with
company?
Elevation Marketing. We're really good at marketing.
Hey, you know what? Hey, you don't do a lot of these shows. You leave that to Randy and Nick, and your husband's running the other parts of those businesses. So
that's true. They're all pros. They're good at it. So
Yeah, it's okay. You'll get used to it. They tell me they don't like me on TV, but I gotta be here regardless. So that's just how it is. So tell us about your background growing up in business and personal, and how you juggle all this.
All the fun stuff. Yeah, well, I'm juggling it. I don't know if I'm doing it well, but I am juggling it. So born and raised in Colorado, and then took off at 18, went to the Navy, worked as an IT on the good old USS Frank Cable, and then got out, went to college, and kind of fell into the construction industry, first kind of on the finance side of things, and then slowly just kind of transitioned into business development and then marketing, and then kind of started my own agency, I guess, in 2014 full time. So that's my 2-minute, this is my life pitch, I guess. But yeah.
Well, when did you meet Cody and all that?
Oh my God. So I guess that's the career side. Yeah, the romance side, the fun side. So I met Cody, it had to be 2011, I think. And he was actually just starting in roofing. He had just partnered with Randy at Elite Roofing. And we met, and then I think like 2 months later, they went storm chasing to Kansas City. And so we were forced to get to know each other over the phone, kind of nice and slow. And then eventually he made his way back here. Denver got smashed, and then he did only have to storm, I think, one other time. He went to New Mexico, which wasn't so bad. And then we got married in 2013, and we got 2 adorable little boys, 5.5 and almost 2. And so that's the family side. That's how I kind of, Cody and Randy are how I got down the roofing and kind of home services niche when it comes to marketing. Just because, of course, I'm passionate about helping my husband's business grow. So along the way, it just, our agency we started being able to help one roofer after another, just because we kind of came up with a formula and had, got to learn a lot through Elite Roofing, where they trusted us enough to just say, do whatever you need, and not really micromanage us, which was great, because they know we most definitely have their best interest at heart. So that's kind of how I fell into the roofing niche, and then kind of expanded that into home services with electricians and pest control, HVAC, kind of all the fun home services areas, on top of all of our clients outside of that niche. So it's been fun to kind of have our agency grow. I partnered with, the best, one of the best humans you could ever know. Her name's Amanda Joyce, and she is my business partner. We merged our agencies about 3 years ago, and she's just a brilliant mastermind and walking human gold. She's just a great person. So we've been doing this thing together. Our skill sets complemented each other, and so we've just been growing and kind of loving what we do, and trying to help people all along the way, because we just, we're a small agency, but that's intentional. We don't ever want to be the biggest. We do want to be the best, but we're not trying to be like the Scorpions of the world, who are just huge, and you get sold by a sales guy, and then you don't know what that sales guy promised, and you get passed off to an account manager who kind of sets your account up and then forgets you, and that's not us. So
that's no bueno. So
amazing.
So you found your Randy?
Yes, exactly.
Well, you said you compliment each other. I'm thinking about, because I've known Randy for a long time, and I've known Cody, but Randy's always the one who's talking, kind of like me. Me and Kyle, we've known each other for, we worked together and we worked together again. But I'm more of the go-getter, and and he's always calm down, and I know Cody's that to Randy.
Yeah, what's so funny is Amanda and I are actually really similar. We both like put our heads down into our work, and neither one of us focuses on like the actual business side. So like you'll never get like marketing emails from us or like we just put our heads down and kind of grind for our clients. So this year we're actually trying to like do more of that complementary, like focus on our business and also our clients, and kind of do a little more of the marketing that we preach for everybody else. But
hey man,
but so
what? So if you're there's two sides to that story. If you're making good money and all, you're able to do your vacations and all that stuff, when you get too big, then all of a sudden sometimes you're babysitting more than you're doing and you're not enjoying it. Before I was doing a handful of roofs, I was making 6 figures and I was working 3 months out of the year. Life was great.
Oh, that sounds nice.
I want a job like that.
Yeah.
One day, Padawan. One day. That's
one day.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. So you talked a little about that. So you talked about your kids. What do you guys like to do for fun when you're not working?
We love to go camping, snowboarding, and let's see, both kids are kind of starting to get into it. Cameron, we've gotten him on the board, and he's almost 2, so he pretty much we pull him. But yeah, we like to go snowboarding and camping. Cody and I have gotten like so into the Peloton, which is embarrassing. We're both like super competitive on there, which I don't know if that's really a hobby, but I guess it's kind of what we're into right now. So yeah, just kind of outdoorsy stuff, I think, and travel, lots of travel,
Sounds good.
Sounds good. And well, let's talk about business. How can I avoid the dumb tasks, as they say, when it comes to hiring an agency?
Yes, the dumb tax. So nobody wants to spend their hard-earned money kind of failing with an agency. So what we've seen a lot of is basically roofing companies go in, they hire an agency, you get like a website for a really low price, like maybe like $1,400. And they turn it around super quick and it looks great. Well, the challenge with that is that when you go to leave, you actually don't own the content that's on the website. So you don't own any of the copy, the thing that's been hopefully helping you move the dial with your search engine optimization, or SEO is I hope everyone's maybe heard of it by now. But so the problem is you get this website up, you get it fast, but then you don't own it when you're ready to leave. So I think the biggest thing is with any agency that you're going to go with, on the small front, if you're just buying a website, like you want to buy a whole website, you want to own your digital assets. You don't want to rent a website. You don't want to have to turn it all over when you're done and ready to like build your own website. Even if you go to Wix and build a site for like $250 to get their logo taken off of it, that is going to be better for you in the long run than spending all of these, like, even if it's just 12 months, that's 12 months of like your SEO that's now gone and wasted, which is a slow crawl anyway as a marketing tactic. So you want to make sure, I think the biggest thing we preach is like own your digital assets, like own your website. While it's a great Band-Aid in the moment when you need a website quick and a storm hit and maybe you're starting up your own thing, ultimately just do it yourself on Wix, even if it's a one-pager. And the other side of that we keep seeing is like I mentioned this agency, I mentioned them, Scorpion, because we've seen so many roofers just get burned by this agency, and they build them like a $20,000 website, and then they don't own the content, but also it's like sold as, oh, this proprietary system and it's really easy for you to edit. But at the end of the day, like, you don't own it because they own that software, so no one else can edit, no other webmaster can get in there, you can't, that doesn't transfer over to you. So
you cannot do it by yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's better if you own it.
Exactly. So it's just kind of a big waste of money. So anyway, avoid when you're hiring an agency, it's say for a website specifically, or anything an agency does for you, I think the most important thing is that you own every piece of it, like the Google Analytics account, your Google AdWords account. If you're spending ads somewhere, but then you leave them and you don't have that historical data, you just wasted money testing certain ads and certain campaigns, and then you don't know what worked or didn't work really well when it's time to, I don't know, spend more and do ads again. So
and start off with buying your domain.
Buying your domain.
Because some of these companies, they'll do all of that for you, make it so easy. And then, like you said, oh, well, and you don't even own that. You know, it's like, oh, I need to think of a new, name for the website.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I haven't seen that recently. I did, like, when I first started out on my own, I saw a lot of people that didn't own their domains because there were a lot of companies selling that domain, like denverroofingcontractors.com can be yours for $10,000 kind of thing. But yeah, so hopefully with shows like this, that message has gotten hammered home. But definitely any digital asset, you want to make sure you own it.
Well, I mean, if you're big enough and you want to buy those because you want write-offs or whatever, but own it, get it transferred to you instead of basically you're paying a rental fee,
Yeah.
If you're spending that much, it should come to you and you should keep a hold of it. And then when you retire or whatever, that's when you can resell it because you built it up.
Yeah, well, and with that, you always want to check because if you're buying it, so you want to see how many times that domain has changed hands, what kind of sites they were before. Even if you would assume it would be a roofing contractor site with like the example we just gave, but you want to make sure that if you're going to use that to say redirect to your company's website because you think it makes sense, and that is a tactic with SEO. But if it's traded hands frequently, that sends up like a red flag to crawlers. And so your trust score actually goes down. So your search engine results, where you're placed, your rank could move down with that. So buying domains it can be a really good tactic, but just do your research on that domain. Look at the history of it before you point it to your website.
Okay, so it's better if it's completely new than being used like a lot of times.
It
Not
depends.
always. Yeah, because an aged domain can be like SEO gold. It can be if it's aged and it has a high trust score and it kind of checks all these other boxes that we look at when we're taking that route. But because a brand new domain has less of a trust score because Google, they don't know what you've done with it. They don't have all these users that have a good experience or high or low bounce rate, or they don't know about you as a company. So if you buy a brand new domain, don't buy it for 2 years, buy it for the max that it will let you, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. That would be step one. And I would also buy it through Google domains versus GoDaddy or any of the other domain providers, because Google loves itself. It is the best narcissist out there. It will check its own products as a reference before it looks externally. So a new domain can be good. Just buy it for a long period of time and buy it through Google domains.
Okay.
So, all right, next question we got.
Yeah.
If I am a small contractor with a conservative marketing budget, where should I start?
So this question, it does have a direct answer. So if you're if you need the phone to ring right now, the answer is to go through paid media. And specifically Google local service ads. I know we talked about this at the Growth Mastermind, but the Google local service ads, number one, like the real estate on that search engine page, they're the very first thing on there, whether it's mobile or desktop, right? And then people see that like Google guaranteed like trust sign with it. So that's great for your brand. But more or less, like those leads, depending on your market, they're guaranteed phone calls. They're not just someone like clicking on your ad on the search engine results page, which could maybe convert. It's an actual phone call that's maybe $40 to $60, depending on, again, your market. And then if it's not a lead, like if it's a crew calling looking for work, you can dispute that, and you get that $40 refunded to your account, or whatever your cost per call is with GLSA. So if you need the phone to ring right now, and I know a lot of contractors do. It's slow season almost everywhere, no matter where you're at. GLSA, you have to get vetted out. So start the process now if you haven't already. That's the biggest thing. And then if you're like, okay, we've got that covered now, and that's short-term strategy, long-term strategy. Like I finally have, a little bit of budget for that. Where should we start? And I always say SEO, just because it is a long-term strategy. You're not going to get those leads immediately, but it's great for your branding because you should be building content. That's how you kind of move the dial with SEO. You should always have that fresh content. So you're building trust. You're helping the users experience and their journey with you. If every time they're typing up a question about roofing and your website keeps coming up with the answer in a different blog or a service page or whatever it might be, they just see your name over and over, and that helps with the the brand recognition. And what is it, someone needs to see you like 8 times before they like remember, kind of deal. So that's always where I would start if you have a smaller budget. And even if you can't afford, let's say, like a retainer with an agency on SEO, do your actual Google profile, post on that bad boy daily if you can. That's if you can pay someone to do that for you and that fits within your budget, great. But if you're at the lower end of whatever that budget looks like, do yourself a favor and post there every single day.
And what about reviews? Those are free.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. So you're absolutely right. Like asking for reviews via email, when you have a happy customer, hopefully that's kind of in your workflow, that after a project's finished, you have that automated email that goes out with specific links that points them where to leave a review, preferably on Google over Yelp or even Facebook. But on top of acquiring reviews, how you respond to reviews, always make sure to reply to them. And even if they're super old, go back through and reply to them and say, use kind of those keywords in your reply. Say, we know there's a lot of roofers in Denver. Thank you for trusting Elite Roofing with your roof replacement. So you kind of sprinkled in some of those keywords in your responses. And that works with any industry, whatever business you're in, just sprinkling in those like core keywords in your responses in your location, if it fits, like, if you can sound natural in the response, those are some great like best practices.
And if somebody leaves a bad review, don't leave it alone, but don't be confrontational,
Absolutely. Always respond to them. Even, nobody's perfect. And as long as you show you care in your response and show that, you want to make it right, or you've tried to make it right. I think that's what most of us as consumers want to see. Like you can't, especially in home services, it's construction. Like there's going to be a weather delay, a materials delay, a change in pricing now, the way we've seen the supply chain kind of get messed with here. And some people are understanding of that and maybe some aren't. So I'm sure there's some reviews out there with some upset people, but I think all of us as consumers, we just want to know the company we work with cares that you're not going to, write us off and stop answering the phone as soon as, something goes south, or if something goes south.
Yeah,
Sure.
we had a client that they had a paired garage and in the back, and it was a lean-to. So we're used to in the industry just using head wall and flipping it over. Well, the problem was they had stucco and it was like this. So he's like, this metal does it. And I go look and I said, I'm going to replace it. I'll do some custom metal, but it's not. I go, this is what you had on here. They just had a piece of drip edge. And I go, what we have is superior, but I'll get it fixed. I'll deal with your insurance so I get the extra money, right? But I showed him on the front of his garage. I go, look at your gutter. It's doing the exact same thing, but because it's formed, it has that extra bend, you don't see it. And he was like, oh, so we replaced it. And then I called him for payment. It didn't get replaced. Sent him my company cam links. Here it is. Here's the work that got done. And then he put a review because of the fact that he supposedly sent a check that he had to cancel because it didn't come to our office. Well, making excuses. I'm like, you're 10 minutes from my office. I told you plenty of times I will come and pick it up. I picked it up from your neighbor, no problem. you know, you're, you know, I go.
He put that in the review?
He put something about like that the check got lost, and so he had to cancel the check. But he said like he sent the check and it got lost. And it's like, well, dude, you just said you sent it in the mail. Everybody's had that happen before. Why do you think online payments and everything else is the way everything's going these days?
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is what it is. You know, we dealt with it. But it's funny. He put it on the BBB, but he didn't give us like, it wasn't something we had to deal with other than saying it wasn't, it was just a review. It wasn't a complaint.
Huh. All right.
But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so did you reply to the review?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, we just said, hey, we had all the dates because we had Job Nimbus and CRM. We're like, on this date we said this, and then like basically we put like 2 paragraphs, and basically typically I wouldn't do it, but the guy was such a knucklehead. I mean, I would have, if it was somebody that said, oh, I got a flat tire. Well, guess what? We fixed the flat tires. I'm sure Brandy and Cody do also. I've dealt with other roofers who haven't, and it's like, dude, you're dealing with a complex. You're doing a $2 million job, and you can't fix some tires. Like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
It was ridiculous. It's like, hey, it's the cost of doing business. Sometimes stuff happens, and it's a write-off. It is what it is, But
yeah,
yeah,
just always trying to do right.
Yeah. It's just funny when you own a business and other people are in the same business and run it horribly. You're like, how are you even still in business?
Yeah. Well, that's what we see too, because a lot of like marketing people are like, but well, how do I know that it's working? And this agency like did this to me, and this agency did that, and you just hear so many horror stories that I know. So when someone in your industry is kind of doing wrong by people, it's frustrating because there's a mistrust for a reason, and you're like, I don't know what to tell you. I work with people that give you that warm fuzzy feeling, and when that feeling's gone, then it's time to maybe move on, because especially in marketing, we can show you metrics and show you what we're doing in the movement, but if you don't trust your agency, like you're always going to be like frustrated and spending too much time like diving into things, or dissecting something that maybe you don't, maybe do, maybe they've got a great answer, but if there's no trust there, you're just going to be miserable the whole time. So, and we as an agency, like we don't want that. Like we love transparency. We when we do our annual reports, we're like, here's the big wins, and here's what we don't love, and this is our plan to fix it. This is our strategy. So anytime, I guess that's a little nugget, anytime you get all good news all the time, maybe see if peek under the hood a little bit more.
There's probably something hiding. Right?
Yeah. Well, even when we have nothing but good news, we're like, what are we missing? There's got to be something.
Something to improve,
Exactly.
right? We always want the feedback to make things better.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because it can be going great, and then you get one big algorithm update, and we're like, oh my gosh, all right, pivot, rethink, So
it's always changing.
Changing.
Every day, something new for sure.
Yep. I don't envy you.
It is fun.
Yeah, everybody has their likes and dislikes. I mean, I deal with some marketing stuff myself and everything, but it's a lot. It's a different cookie than what you guys are dealing with. So,
Yeah. There's about a million different types of marketing out there, and like that quick lead gen stuff. Like some companies just kill it, and I don't even begin to want to know how to do that. That's not the type of agency we are, so.
Well, and we that's why we're going to have this 5 weeks of marketing, because it's different stuff. And like I said in the post, there's different things that work in different markets. Or it may be your company, you're just really good at it. Those quick leads, you got to be able to call those and get on them right away. You have a software that sends them a text and all these things like right away, because they're going to forget about it 2 minutes later after they fill out the form.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're like, who's calling me? What is this? And then depending on what the service is, like I know on Yelp, they have like a get a quote now sort of thing. And oh my gosh. So I can't imagine the people that make that mistake and sign up for it thinking they want it and then they just get hit up. Well, I guess there's a limit on how many people Yelp lets go through, but if you don't respond within like 30 seconds, not even 30 seconds, like the first 10 seconds you get that email, those leads are gone too. So yeah, you're right. You have to have like the people and the processes in place for that type of lead gen marketing to be effective and worth the cost, because I know that stuff ain't cheap.
Yeah,
Sure,
I
because
think
you can give like
I always
great-
said Yelp is for restaurants.
I agree. Yelp is the ultimate
Agree.
devil. I think we all hate Yelp except for restaurants. I do want to know how the food is.
Well, but the thing is I look at Yelp and Google, because then you got some people
like
on Yelp are just like, they just want to be on Yelp, right? And they're oh yes this, and then you look at Google and it's like, yeah, I went here, it's not worth the money, right? Okay, great.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta find the balance. There are different like
Yeah.
Yelpers versus like Google reviewers. Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
The one that has like hundreds of Google reviews. So I get free stuff from Google, and the Job Nimbus guys get it from Yelp.
Oh my gosh. I did get some free socks from Google for their like local guides. That was nice.
Yeah. I almost got the goggles they were supposed to send them to me, and then they stopped that program. And I'm like, do you remember those Google Glass? It basically was a phone in your glasses. It was pretty cool. It had a screen and stuff. I was like, I couldn't wait, and then went away.
Dang it.
Well, then the iWatches and all that came out, so it was like nobody cared.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. So, also speaking about ads, I have a small conservative ad budget. Where should I spend it?
Yeah, that definitely goes back to that Google local service ads. You can go a long way with display as well. But ultimately, I guess the biggest lesson that we've learned with all of our roofing clients across kind of all markets is that Google AdWords is just too expensive and not worth it. It's a great GLSA, Google local service ads. Do that first, and then display is nice and cheap, and it gets your name out there, and you can set it up to follow those people around the web who searched like roof replacement, roof repair, things like that. And it's just exponentially cheaper than AdWords.
Okay.
Now, what about like having pixels set up with your Facebook and all that fun stuff? Or is that somebody else I need to talk to?
That is the wonderful, talented Amanda Joyce, my partner. But I mean, if you are running like Facebook ads, yeah, you want to you want to use the tracking pixel to kind of collect data on your users and then build lookalike audiences and things like that when you spend money on social media advertising. So we just kind of recommend, if you are doing those social ads, that you kind of have a goal in mind instead of just hearing that they work. Just really, really consider, is this a brand play? Do you expect to get a lot of leads from this? And kind of set those expectations for why you're using social media platforms as your kind of chosen venue for paid advertising.
Nice.
Wonderful.
So, any closing remarks, Devon?
Let's see here. No, just email me if you have questions. We are starting a new coaching and consulting side of our business. Previously, we just did kind of done for you marketing and would only take on like one roofing client per market. So we had to reject a lot of awesome people because we didn't want to, take money from one pocket to the other to have both companies rank in the same market for the same term. But now we are offering kind of a coaching vein where we teach someone at your business internally. We teach them how to do things the way we do them here at the agency. And there's videos and slides, and it's kind of a one-on-one. The coaching is a group thing, but then we also have consulting, which is one-on-one, where you're like, I just really need to know how to, I don't know, analyze Google Analytics. Then you can kind of sign up for an hour of time with us that way. So I guess those would be my closing remarks, is that if you've tried to work with us before and we had to say no, we kind of have these new veins of service, and also, hit me up with your questions. Always happy to share the knowledge and kind of just help everyone.
All right. And you can reach her at dhayes@elevmarketing.com. So
I know, Elevation Marketing, the domain is taken and nothing is there, but they won't sell it. So it is, the abbreviation for Elevation, elevmarketing.com.
All right. Well, we'll talk later. I know a guy who can help you out with that. No, Chuck.
Oh my gosh. Strong arm him. Thank you so much.
So if anybody needs help with their supplements or estimates, you can call or text me at 720-702-1938, or you can email me at jason@furtadolaw.solutions. So Devon, I know you got to take off and go get your kiddos, so we'll let you go, but thank you very much for your time, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. You guys are awesome.
Oh, and Amanda just put a comment that you're brilliant.
Ah, do you see what I mean? She's the best business partner of all time. Look at that support.
Oh yeah. All right.
Well, those business partners.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.